Hello, everybody. Welcome to Off the Court with Harvard Council Motivational Session. Today, I want to talk to you about time zones. I want to ask you the question, and I want to start off with a question to ask, what time zone are you operating in the most? And when I mention time zone, I think you probably might be a little curious about what I mean by time zone. But I'm not talking about Pacific time, Eastern time, West Coast time, and Eastern Standard Time. I'm not talking about that type of time zone. The time zone I'm talking about is four things. All right, four time zones. All right, those four time zones is number one is spare time. Number two is part time. Number three is full time. And number four is all the time. Okay, spare time, part time, full time, all the time. What time zone are you operating in the most? And I'm going to break those down a little bit for you so you get a better understanding of what I'm saying. If you're operating in the spare time, you are doing not much. Okay? Spare time people, sometimes they get it done, sometimes they don't get it done. They always sit back waiting for something to happen, all right? But they won't do anything about it, all right? Spare time. I'll do it when I get to it type of attitude. Okay, and you know some people like that at work. You ask them to do something sometime, or they're expected to do something, and I get to it when I can get to it. Those are spare time people. Okay, then you got your part-time people. Part-time people, I'll do it every now and then. Okay, and I'll do it, kind of like spare time when I can get to it. So every now and then I'll do something, but I'm not going to do it all the time. But see, these are the same people that are expecting to have great things in life, but they're not putting in the time and the energy to get those things that they want in life. And then they're looking back at the other people who are getting them, and they're thinking like, wow, how they getting them? Well, you live in a part-time and a spare time life, so there's no way you're gonna get those things. And then the next one is full-time. Full-time people, they'll do what's required of them. Okay, so if you give them a task to do, full-time people, they're gonna get it done. Okay, they're gonna get it done, and that's good. And then you got the last one, which is the thing that I want to focus in on the most, and it talks about all the time people. And all the time people, they'll do whatever it takes regardless of the circumstances. Okay, they'll do whatever it takes regardless of the circumstances. So if there's more to be done, they're gonna do it. All right, they're gonna be doing more than what's required of them. And I'll talk about that in a second. All right, but those are the four time zones that I want you to think about and where you are in those time zones. Okay, you got spare time and part-time. Okay, and these are the people that have no shot at success. Spare time and part-time, they have no shot at success because you never know which one of these two are going to show up, if they show up at all. Okay, then you got the full-time people. Like I said earlier, full-time people have a shot at success, all right, because they're going to do what's required of them, and that's good. All right, but my point is I want to focus in on the all-time people. The all-time people are the ones that consistently do the unrequired work. All right, the unrequired work. That means if I give you something to do and you're required to do it, okay, I'm gonna do that and then some. Okay, this is how you get it done. The people that are successful in life, they go above and beyond what they need to do or what they have to do. Okay, and I might be sweating a little bit, so I just got off the treadmill. So y'all, forgive me if you see me wiping a little bit. All right, but it's part of my personal development, so I try to do it every day. All right, but the all-timers, they do more than what's expected or required of them. And I think I talked about this one time before about being a Gimper, and I read this in a book called The Prayer of Jabez, and it talks about being a Gimper. And a Gimper is somebody who does more than what's required or what's expected of them. Okay, and in life, you got to do more than what's required or expected. If the teacher tell you to read one chapter, you ought to read two chapters. All right, that's how you're going to get better. You can't sit back and just wait for somebody to tell you. Everybody that's successful now and that's doing some things, all right, believe me, they work out a little bit more. They do a little bit more. They go overboard a little bit more than the average person. That's why they're where they're at. Okay, and I like to use the basketball term and say that if I ask you as a coach to shoot 5 free throws, you ought to shoot 10. Okay, if I ask you to run a certain amount of sprints, all right, you ought to run 3 or 4 extra sprints. Okay, those are the ones, because everybody's doing the same thing in life. Okay, and if everybody's doing the same thing in life, how are you gonna get it? How are you gonna get up here? Okay, so you can't keep doing the same thing everybody else is doing and expect to get up here. All right, you got to do something different, man. You got to always try to increase your game. All right. And I think about watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and the Bulls, going through that. And I think about the series that they had with the Detroit Pistons where, he got beat down really good. All right. So the first thing he did after the season was over, he realized that he was going to take a beating. So now he had to get himself in shape. So what did he do? He hired a trainer and went in the weight room and got bigger. So he had to do a little bit more than what was required of him last year. All right. And that's what we got to do in life. We got to do a little bit more each day. All right. That's going to determine the successful people from the unsuccessful people. What are you doing more, all right, than you did before? All right. You can't keep doing the same thing, all right, and expect a different outcome. It's not going to happen. Okay. It's not going to happen. And there's a quote that I want to share with you. It says, how you do anything is how you do everything. Now I want you to think about that for a minute. How you do anything is how you do everything. Okay. So if you are doing something this way, and then I give you a good example. If you're complaining about something on a job that you don't like about the job, okay, so you say, I'm gonna quit this job, I'm gonna go to find me another job. Well, you know what? 9 times out of 10, that thing you didn't like is something that you're probably not doing on that current job that you had. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that same effort, that same energy to this next job. Okay? Because why? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. Okay? And that's just how it is. Okay? So just think about that. And the last thing I want to share with you, well, not share with you, but I want to ask you this question again. What time zone are you operating in the most? Are you in spare time doing nothing? Are you in part time doing it sometime? Or are you in full time doing what's required? Or are you in all the time? All right? And you need to be in the all the time mode if you're going to be successful. God bless.